Friday, it's 5 p.m. and Bradley, after I finish this call, I'm going to do our favourite thing in the world.
It's our thing that we like doing together.
Yeah, you and me. What do we like doing together?
Drinking beer.
Yeah.
Filming each other drink beer. Go to a pub. Go to a brewery.
Well, yeah. I was trying to reference this week's video. I was going to say tank pours of lovely lager.
Well, hang on. Where are you tank pouring? What?
Right behind me, mate.
Oh, your tanks. Okay. So you're saying you're going to do it right after. You could do it right now. That's the.
I could do it right now. I could do it on the pod, couldn't I? I could do a tank pour on the pod, which would mean a lot to people watching, but not so much to people listening. Yeah. Maybe I will in a bit. Maybe I will. But I did. The reason I referenced that is because Jack from Barron, a complete surprise, rocked up at my door.
Yep. He knows where you live.
On Wednesday, interrupted me doing the Craft Beer Channel accounts, annual accounts, which I needed interruption from that, with our collab.
Oh, look at that label. Come on, zip off trousers. Zip off trousers.
Pretty great.
Yeah, it's very cool.
To homebrewers out there, as always, all the details are on the back, as he does on all of his beers, which is great. And you even get a thing called the Nerdy Bits.
Read out those hops, because I just saw Simcoe and some other stuff on there.
Simcoe Strata Motueka Crush.
Oof.
And the Nerdy Bits, it says, Jonny came to help with this brew. And then it gets Simcoe Dynaboost, Strata CGX, T90s, 28 grams per litre dry hop. It's going to be massive. Although he did say that when he was canning it that it was green, folks.
Wow.
So
green.
he's praying that the green gets a little bit more drinkable by the time the festival comes around. But we've still got 2 weeks, so I have all faith that the greeniness will start to die down.
But the reason T90, sorry mate, the T90 hops, are they named after the T90 from Terminator, the robot?
No.
Are we sure? Because he's called the T90 as well. I reckon it might be.
No, T90 is to do with how much of the actual sort of hop leaf is left. You've got the T90s and the T45s.
I reckon it's definitely what I said.
Okay.
We'll go with it.
Sure.
We'll go with that.
So
you're saying it's like a matter thing?
Yeah, it's to do with the percentage of hop, vegetable matter versus the good stuff, the lupulin oils.
I need that, obviously.
Sorry, not the good stuff. We need the vegetable stuff as well.
We need the veg stuff, yeah.
But yeah, it's talking about how intense that pellet is, essentially. It's the pellets, the T90s and the T45s. Anyway, what was very exciting about Jack coming over, other than the delivery of this and his double West Coast IPA, was that I was able to give him a tank pour.
Wow.
Which is not something I've ever done for basically anybody ever before, but certainly not a brewer. So I got to sort of repay in kind all the wonderful tank pours that we've been given in the many years that we've been doing this, with just a tiny sample of a not very long lagered fest beer.
I'm sure he had the time of his life.
He liked it. He finished it.
He liked it. Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah.
It's always polite to finish it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to... Did I share with you before the video of the Japanese ambassador downing a pint of cask?
You did show me that.
Oh, yeah. I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine it was very much like that.
Which is, I think, how international relations should be done.
Yeah. You should down whatever the national drink is. If you're past it on camera, you should down it. It doesn't matter if it's champagne or like a pint of tequila or whatever it might be.
I think you'll create international incidents rather than avert them if you're downing pints of champagne.
You've got to down it. That's
also, the bubbles
rule.
on that.
It's straight to the... Yeah.
Think of the bloating.
Oof. Bloaty boys. Talking of bubbles on that, I had just before we move on, I had a ting yesterday. Pink ting. You know, I'm a big fan of ting, the fresh, the soft drink, which is sort of great.
Say ting one more time.
Ting. Well, pink ting is a crap ting. I will never buy a pink ting again. I don't even know what it tasted like. It had the smell of like a fake bitterness of a grapefruit on it, but it tasted like it had twice as much fake grapefruit flavoring as it should have done in it, and it was Barbie pink. I give it a 1 out of 10, Jonny.
Which ain't
a 1 out of 10. No, and too bubbly as well. Too bubbly. That's how I got to the champagne bubbles.
Didn't get the texture, the look, or the flavour right, huh?
Nah, nothing. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh.
Well, thanks for the update. So I've just poured something that I hope will be delicious because it comes from one of our wonderful Patreons.
Look
so
at
this
that.
Is from Ton.
Nice.
Ton are a relatively new brewery, I guess maybe about a year old at this point. And this is their Irish stout called Daradach. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. It's an Irish stout inspired by the legendary king oh God, it's really making me work. Conchobar Mac Nessa from Irish mythology's Ulster Cycle.
Wow.
So it's East Kent Goldings, creamy mouthfeel. It's definitely not nitrogenated, but hopefully silky smooth still. And Ton, I've got quite excited about when they first opened because they sent me a little pack when they joined the Patreon. There was a lemon dropped hopped lager, which was a great idea. They've also got a modern English IPA, which was inspired by our documentary Meantime. So it's all the modern British hops.
Yeah.
And that's a delicious beer. And so he sent me another, I guess, not the next batch, a couple of batches in. Maybe he's even more happy with the beers right now. So I'm excited to dig into all of those. So cheers to the folks at Ton.
Fantastic. Thanks for being Patreons. It really, really does help keep the lights on, especially as Jonny's brewing so many studio beers.
I'm just blowing our budget on the
power grid.
Well, no, you're not paying for that. Don't worry, Bradley. I'm paying for my own electricity.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, keeping a beer. At one point, I had a beer. I had a Kvike IPA fermenting at 31.
Yeah,
and I was lagering a fest beer at 2. So
and that is why
Grainfather's
amazing because you can do that.
Yeah, you can.
Shout out Grainfather. Come back, give us some more sponsorship, Grainfather. You are helping us at the festival, but we've got so many great ideas, Grainfather. Indeed,
yeah, they're sponsoring the glassware. I've got samples of the glassware arriving today from the Malt Miller.
We should have had that photo you sent me, but it looks epic.
Yeah, we probably
that was loud.
Done. But what
was that, a woodpecker?
No, somebody's constructing some scaffolding somewhere near me, and I've got the windows wide open because I've been kegging and sorting out the brew fridge as Brad witnessed before we started rolling because I moved one thing in the brew fridge and everything collapsed.
Beer Jenga. Can I have my beer now,
It's like
Jonny?
Jenga, but multiple towers. Of course you can. At any point, just crack them. You don't need to wait for me.
Look at this, drinking tenfold Czech pills because our video
this Budvar glass gets such
I
use.
know. And I didn't even have to nick it. They gave it to me. They're clever, really, aren't they? They knew that. I mean, look, I'd say I've poured a pretty nice. Look at that.
You've absolutely nailed that, yeah.
I've done all right.
And look at that glorious foamy head, partly created by decoction,
Come on.
folks.
Great stuff.
And this beer is about as close as anybody can get to the beer that we brewed with Utopian in the video. Well, not in the video. We talked about it in the video, but the brew video is coming soon. But it's the beer that we served at Love and Beer, our triple decocted Czech Pilsner, and this is sort of a 10 Plato 4% version of that. Although there are some tweaks to our recipe, which includes Goldings, no fuggles, a longer boil. Otherwise similar. I think that was Hannah Malt as well.
Pretty similar. Yeah, it's Hannah. All Hannah Malts. Actually, it says on the back. What does it say? Brewed with an heirloom Czech yeast strain dating back over a century. That's
the Budvar Czech strain, but they can't say that.
They can't say that. We can't say that, can we? And Hannah Pilsner Malt. Hannah Pilsner Malt, grown in Norfolk. Tenfold Pils honours the roots of Bohemian lager, crisp, clean, and quietly complex. Jonny, like you, it's a beer that rewards patience. I don't know about that. I'm drinking it pretty fast. We lager it cold, let the yeast work slow, and keep things simple. No shortcuts, just tradition multiplied. And I think that's kind of what the video is about, really, isn't it? This week.
Yeah, it is. We can dig into it now because we've kind of landed there anyway. It doesn't matter if we flip things on its head. It keeps things interesting. You know, sometimes you've got to mix it up in the podcast room.
Damn the formats.
Damn the format. We've never been good at formats anyway, Bradley. Let's be honest. It's why our YouTube views are tanking a bit at the moment, Bradley.
They are.
I keep meaning to catch up with you about this, but this video seems to have been a hit.
That's good. We need to do some of my exotic danger videos that I keep threatening for us to do, which we can't reveal what they are because someone will do them. But they're great. They're great ideas that are clicky.
Someone will do. I don't particularly want to. Well, we've got some ideas for more broad content in which we can still educate, but you know my philosophy. It's not broad. It's deep. That's how we make an impact.
Yeah, but I
think it's working. If we can get, how many people have watched it so far? 5,000 people in 21 hours have watched a 32-minute documentary about a lager brewery in Devon. I think
it's not bad.
We shouldn't forget that that's great.
Yeah, that is pretty great. High fives.
High fives. High fiving a million angels. So this week's video was our feature on Utopian, one of our favorite. There we go. They're the fireworks. Our documentary about Utopian, who brew staunchly traditional continental style beer. So even more traditional than most of the lager producers in Germany. And indeed, to some extent, the Czech Republic, but with British ingredients. So really traditional processes, mostly, I guess you'd say heritage British ingredients, which, as we say in the thumbnail, in the intro, several times throughout, and at the end, we may have hammered it home a little bit too much, is mental. Because, you think, you'd never make an American IPA with Fuggle. You'd never make a Berliner Weiss with American malt. Well, you shouldn't. No. Sorry, when I say American malt, I mean crappy old school American malt. They're now getting very good at making it. This is a bit of a step change. It sort of blows out the water things like the BJCP guidelines, perhaps, or homebrew forums, which are often wrong anyway. I think it's a really interesting story that not only have they tried to do that, but they've absolutely nailed it and made some of the best Czech and German lagers I've ever tasted, not just outside of Germany, but without even using. Obviously the yeast is from there, and Hanna is a malt that was once grown in the Czech Republic. But damn, it is an amazing achievement, and has changed my mind about what our ingredients can do here.
What's possible with the might and the will and the patience and the time and the skill and the Richard and the Jeremy, all vital ingredients.
And the farmers, the maltsters.
The maltsters.
I think we have to give a big shout out. We didn't really dig into it, and I did want to. There was originally a plan to talk about the fact that they have worked with Warminster Malt, who I think are the only sole floor malting maltster in the UK now, to create a Czech-style floor malted Bohemian style malt as well. So they've literally come up with their own malt to achieve what they want to. And that has to be a big part of the character of the beers that goes into, because nobody else is using that. But yeah, their commitment to making British ingredients work is amazing. And I think it's something that I'd love to see more of in the beer industry, like less attachment maybe to bringing ingredients from all over the world because we feel like we have to. Like sometimes it is going to be true, you kind of have to. But equally, I think sometimes the best things happen outside of your comfort zone, as I say in the video. You push yourself a little bit and things can go a long way. And I really think that is what's made Utopian special. I think if they were just another lager brewery in the UK, just using continental ingredients, I wouldn't love them half as much. They wouldn't excite me half as much. And the beer, I think, wouldn't be as unique.
Agreed, mate.
And we talk about Arcadia when we went there? So their tap room in Exeter, which is great.
We didn't talk about Arcadia, I don't think, at this point. But it was excellent. And it felt quite a different experience than a normal tap room or craft beer bar. I thought it was quite elevated, very sort of warm and cozy, but also quite stylish and pared back and grown up. I felt like it was quite grown up.
Did feel grown up, didn't it?
The food offering was amazing, which I don't think... I mean, you can say that about a lot of places. They have good like street food vans and stuff like that, but the chef they had in there was incredible. Absolutely amazing small plates, real fancy boy food that was delicious. We had some pork that was incredible, some sticky beef stuff which was incredible, all kinds of things. You had lots some seafood, didn't you? You had some seafood offerings and just so good with the beers as well. Incredible, because lagers I think go great with lots of meaty and kind of saucy foods, don't they? So
they're very what's the word? Utilitarian. You can put lager with a lot of different things because it it's refreshing and it's carbonated, which lifts everything. And then there's such variety and depth of flavor that you can kind of pair intensity really easily, which isn't true of, say, IPA, where it's always intense. I think what was really interesting about Arcadia, like, you said it was grown up, and it's definitely true. But in terms of the kitchen, like, it's all obviously cooked fresh, and that's very important to them. But it was the diversity of what they were offering, so different cuisines from around the world, and a seasonal approach to it as well. Whereas most food in tap rooms is specialized, so they might do pizza, they might do burgers, they might do barbecue, whatever it is, and generally doesn't change. Like year round, it's going to be roughly similar, and there might be some specials, but that's about it. And I think it was a really, they really focused on offering something different each time you went in, which made it feel more like it was given equal weight to the beer, which is so rare in British pubs and bars, and particularly tap rooms. It reminded me a little bit of Local.
Yeah, it had that kind of vibe.
Not the actual cuisine, but small plates, modern vibe, like as far as you could be from sort of the Czech sort of brown cafe. I don't know what they'd call them, the locals.
I think you could argue
very, very modern.
That you could want to go there because you like the sound of the food, and then you get there and you're like, wow, they do amazing beer. Oh, it's something to do with a brewery, because I think you could be led there by the food. It's that good.
And you saw that other tables were drinking wine, not beer and stuff. So they were there for the food and because they liked the place. And that's when you get to convert people as well.
It's a good conversion thing for sure.
People don't go there for the beer, but it's a chance to speak to them about it. So very cool place. And everybody should go, because there's no tap room, although they are allowed a tap room, I think, at the brewery, but they haven't got around to it. It's a very commercial space. They're churning out a huge amount of beer. For such a youngish brewery, 6 years now. So absolutely blown away by that. And I think that comes across in the video. I think maybe that's why the video's doing well. Partly, I think we got the thumb and the intro right. We worked quite hard on fixing those. But equally, just the story, it's a story we haven't really got to tell before. And I'm well aware. Every now and then I look at, because there's always like listicles, like best beer tube channels and stuff like this, and I always try to read them because sometimes it's good feedback, and the comment section is always lively. And one that really hit home was just somebody said, like, oh, the craft beer channel shtick's got a bit tired. And I hear that. It's tough to find unique stories in craft beer sometimes, because although we think it moves very, very fast, when you're releasing a video a week, it actually moves quite slowly. Every year you'll get 2 or 3 attempts at a new style. There'll be 2 or 3 openings in the UK that are dead exciting, which is why I think, increasingly we've gone into history for new stories and then try to apply them and make them relevant. But this was, I hope whoever wrote that watched that video and was like, you know what, there are new stories to tell. And every now and then Brad and Jonny do work hard on their intros to try and snare new people in. And I think it really worked. It was reassuring that when you try to think outside of the box, it does work, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And we should do more of it, just like Utopian did.
For sure. That's it. Sometimes you've got to just act as if the box isn't even there, Jonny, and just smash straight through the wall of it. Just straight out the side of it. You got to down that diplomatic pint and just run straight at the wall and believe that you can teleport straight through it and not face plant against the brick. It's an act of faith.
You got much experience of international relations?
What, in my dating life? What are we talking about?
I have no idea. I just You just keep going back there like it's an ambition of yours. Maybe we could become beer diplomats, spreading the good word of cask throughout the world.
I think that is
making people drink.
I love the idea. I mean, I've met people along the way that I'm like, those guys are great. They're such good ambassadors for their place where they're from, like the drink, the brewery or whatever. But I remember that beer weasel guy from Lagunitas, just because he was smoking weed and stuff. But I just remember thinking, various people along the way, you're like, he's got a cool name, Beer Weasel. I'm never going to forget him because
I mean, that was his job title. That wasn't his name. You didn't go, hey, Beer Weasel.
Beer Weasel. Yeah,
did you? Okay.
Hey, Beer Weasel.
Misread his business card.
Pass me the dookie, the Dutchie. No, I don't think we did smoke with him, but he was a smoker, wasn't he? We were too busy falling over. Well, I was falling over stands and stuff. But I do think that'd be a great ambition of mine, to just be a face that people are like, that guy, he likes to drink, and he spreads the good word of that guy saved cask ale. Imagine that, Johnny. There will be cask ale. You'd be, in the future, there'll be some bronze statues of me and you, buddy, with clinking our little dimple mugs together.
If they're right, it'll be like that Ronaldo one that looked nothing like him.
Yeah. They'll be crowdfunded and, kind of badly made, probably. Yeah. 3D printed.
And we'll probably have to make them because no one else will.
We'll make them. Yeah, we'll make them.
I'm sure you got some sculpture friends, Bradley, right?
I went to art school. I could knock up a couple of bad statues if that's the marker.
Oh, okay.
I could definitely do
that's all I was expecting.
Bad likeness of you, bad likeness of me. Obviously, I'm going to make myself have more hair, and
me too, please.
Maybe a big beard. You more hair, big beard. And we're going to look great. We're going to be.
I don't need a beard. I'm going back to the 5 o'clock shadow vibes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at how fresh-faced you were from... So, I'll just say, from the video this week, where you, linked to the video from 10 or whatever years ago as well, and I watched a bit of you and Evan, and you going, this is Evan. He wrote a book about good beer in Czech Republic. Didn't you, Evan? And he's like, yeah. I thought that was quite charming. And you look so young in it. It's unbelievable. Not that you look old now, young, mate, but it's unbelievable. Right. And do you know what? I think your accent's changed as well.
Oh, what am I? In what way?
I feel like then you had a bit more of a London swagger to your voice, maybe. Yeah, a little bit, because I noticed it, and I was like, he sounds a bit like David Bowie or something. Like he's got a little bit of a. I can't remember what it was you were saying, but it was almost. I don't know if it was a little bit affected or something. Maybe
we were all a little bit drunk.
Yeah, it was probably just being drunk, actually.
Yeah, I do get accused by my wife of absorbing the accent of the places I'm.
Yeah. Well, you sound.
So I don't know whether I was copying his slightly London. American Czech thing.
Could be.
And ended up sounding like David Bowie.
Yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting.
I am a South Londoner by birth.
I know.
Maybe it just came out for a day.
When you were really drunk with Evan and trying not to fall through a brewery floor or ceiling. I'm not sure which it is. But it
depends on your perspective, whether you've fallen through the floor or the ceiling, Bradley.
I guess it's both, isn't it? It's both at the same time. It's just a matter of perspective. At what point as you're falling through, does the floor become the ceiling?
I guess you fall through the floor and from the ceiling.
Yeah, through the seat. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it? Yeah.
How strong is this beer? What's happening here? So
I've had a beer in a while. So.
Yes. So, you've recovered. Let's not dig too far. No, you're recovering well.
Not really. I'm still eating. Oh, okay. I tried to eat. Oh, mate, I was. Where was I? I don't know why I was there. I was up in Brick Lane. I don't know, Saturday or Sunday, and I tried a Dumbo burger, like this Parisian burger that's like a new smash burger thing. I've really wanted to eat a cheeseburger for the last 2 weeks since I had my teeth out. And I thought it'd be a great idea to try really, really wafer thin smash burger patties that were crispy as hell. So I tried to take the first bite, and it felt like I was eating broken glass in my mouth. So it was like, I think it was a 10 or a 12 pound burger. I tried to take one bite, and then I just sat it in the box and then couldn't eat any more of it. Very sad, Jonny. Very, very sad. So
I'm sorry. But you're back on the triple decocted Pilsners, and I'm sure
I'm back on the Pilsner. It's my birthday soon. It's my birthday this next Monday, so like a couple of days' time. So I've got to have a few beers. I'm not supposed to drink beer, I don't think, but I'm going to have a few beers.
It's fine. It's fine. They always say that, don't they?
Yeah. I'm still eating loads of tins of stuff. Tins of spaghetti hoops. Tins of
it's giving you a thumbs up there as well.
Spaghetti hoops. What's my favorite? I've really enjoyed a Heinz tomato and basil soup. That's pretty good. The cream and tomato soup is pretty good, but with a bit of basil in it. Ooh, now you're talking.
I was in B&M Bargains.
Yeah.
My daughter wanted an umbrella. So that's where we went.
Sure.
And you can get spaghetti carbonara in a tin from Heinz. And
really?
It made me feel quite ill thinking about it. Yeah.
That's going to be, too creamy, surely. But I've been eating the bolognese from a tin because I've wanted a meat fix. It's okay. It's amazing how little resistance that slot puts up against having no teeth.
Yeah.
So you could just slurp it down, basically. So I've been eating lots of that. It's been fun. I think I lost a bit of weight.
Of Heinz. Okay.
I think maybe I've now just getting a bit more confident. I'm going to put it straight back on. But I think I lost a little bit of weight in the past week or so, and I felt quite energized as well. Strangely,
because you're eating less red meat and drinking less beer. Probably.
I think it's just drinking less, eating less. Felt more energized, which they say, don't they, if you do a bit of fasting stuff. So I might have to do some intermittent fasting in my life moving forward. Seeing as I'm old now. I don't think
there's a nutritionist on earth that recommends that, Bradley. As far as I know. I could be wrong.
There's loads. There's loads.
No, a qualified nutritionist, not somebody on Instagram.
There's loads, mate. There's absolutely loads. We're all going to be doing it in 10 years' time.
Peer-reviewed studies encouraging intermittent fasting. The Daily Mail, that would be a splash. I don't think it's true. I don't think it's true.
Maybe.
But anyway. So that was... Wait, where did we get to? Were we still technically on Utopian? Should we do the comments?
We've moved on to being out in the Czech Republic 10 years ago or further.
Oh, yeah, that's where we got to.
And then we can circle back around to comments.
Yeah, so that video, we will include a good little chunk of that in the Brew Day video when that finally goes live in a couple of weeks. Because it's worth looking back on. It's a pretty remarkable place. And I think at the time we didn't fully appreciate how cool and how important that is as a cultural place. So we can maybe reflect on that a little bit as we drink our collab that is supposedly inspired by it. The comment, as a result of all the lovely views that we've received, there have been lots and lots of comments on this video. So much love for Utopian, which is great to see because it shows that we're not alone in thinking that what they've achieved is absolutely amazing. You always get these. I won't flag who wrote this comment, but a couple of people have always seemed to put like, "I've never had this beer on the west coast of America." You're like, well, of course you haven't. It's a tiny brewery in Devon.
That'd be tough, wouldn't it, to get it out there?
Yeah. Like, I think I would like to do a video eventually on like who makes your beer and how distribution works, because I think there is still this kind of lack of understanding around not how the sausage gets made, but how it gets delivered, and just how limited breweries' options are, particularly in the UK, as to who and where can get hold of it. Couple of interesting comments though that I wanted to dig into. Somebody says it reminds who's it? Frankie March. Frank Marchese. Marchese 6736 says reminds me of the way they do lager at Notch Brewery in the US, which I think is a really interesting comparison. Initially, I was like, I'm not sure I necessarily agree with that. And there are differences because Notch are arguably even more traditional. They do open fermentation. They do their pitch line pills where they mock the pitch of Pilsner Urquell. Although I think that Jeremy said they had a go at that as well. But then I remembered that I'm fairly certain they use Sterling, which I think is an American hop, in the US at Notch. So there are definitely some similarities. So it's not sort of dogmatic, but it's pretty close to at both of these breweries. And both are probably... I mean, Notch is one of those breweries that I think everybody should visit. It should be on your bucket list next to The Alchemist. And it's not a million miles away from The Alchemist if you're on holiday. So that was great fun. There's somebody... I cannot find it now. I don't know whether they've deleted the comment. Oh, yeah, there we go. Sorry. So Ollie Jones says, Maillard reaction is not the same as caramelization, which I can't remember what we said in the video, but if we implied they are exactly the same, apologies, they are not. And I think this sort of gets to the heart of why talking about decoction is a little bit tricky. So Maillard reaction requires amino acids from a protein. I think it also requires heat, and it definitely requires sugars, but it's a different process. It's sort of the browning of meat, this creation of a sort of umami flavor, whereas caramelization is the straight burning heating of sugar. So the flavors they come up with are comparable. The places when they happen are comparable, but they're two different things.
Two different processes.
Yeah. So I think there's a point where Jeremy says that, if we were just looking for Maillard, or maybe he says looking for caramelization, we could just do a long boil. And it's important to point out that you probably wouldn't get as much Maillard in the long boil. You'd get caramelization for sure. So there's more potential for Maillard reactions, the creation of melanoidins, in a decoction than in a boil. I know that's super technical, but although we make hopefully very easy to understand broader content, I think it's important that we're accurate. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for that comment, and I hope I've got the science of it right, because that's my very vague understanding of it. But yeah, they are subtly different. Did you find any fun comments?
There's a few that were quite good. I thought people are loving the Hannah malt. So Velkial said the best Czech lager I've had this year was also brewed with Chris Hannah Pilsner malt. You can't go wrong with Czech barley, even if it's grown in a British field. I'd love to try Utopia's beer, maybe when I'm home in the UK next summer, blah, 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 blah. Thought that was cool. Cheers from the Czech Republic. And you know what? Last year I brewed all my lagers from 100% crisp pale malts. Absolutely delicious. I love the colour. Thank you for your job. Cheers, Jiri. P.S. Next time I'm going to use East Kent Goldings. It's pure gold, like our SARS on steroids. So I love the love from the Czech community that's loving our English hops. How cool is that?
Yeah, that was an interesting comment. So I believe that Golding and Fuggle, Jeremy says Golding and Fuggle are like the noble hops of the UK. It's kind of technically not true, but I understand the point he's making. But so Golding is not technically a noble hop, I don't believe, but its origins are a long way back. And Fuggle, I think, is a Golding that must have crossbred with something wild, and it was found in a garden by Mr. Fuggle, and he loved it, so he sort of cultivated it and grew it. But so I believe that Golding and therefore Fuggle are vaguely related to Hersbrucker. And I think somebody in the comments also talked about that, although I can't find that comment right now. So there's no surprise when you look at it on paper that they might work in lagers, particularly Goldings. But I'm still surprised by how well they work. And I still, if I were to brew a traditional Czech lager, I'd still be using SARS probably, because I don't think I know enough about Golding as a hop in lager to get that right like Utopian do, whereas I know how to use SARS, which is whole leaf, all of it. Shorter contact time, little whirlpooly thing is how I do it, and how we'll be doing it when we finally do our Czech Pilsner brew, which I learned a huge amount with Jeremy. And I've got ingredients for another practice very soon. But yeah, I guess that we shouldn't be as surprised that Goldings and maybe Fog will work in lagers, but just the weight of history has told us it's no good for it. The other comment I wanted to read out is from Russ, 1046, who says, I'm not sure if this is a stupid question, but I'd be interested to hear something about cask lager. It's something I've had the occasional rummage in the internet for, but not had much joy. I can see people do tap casks, or whatever the lager word for it is, at things like Oktoberfest, and I think people like Urkel serve beer from big fermenting vessels. Again, probably the wrong term, but there is a keep cask lager. Is there a keep cask lager alive movement out there somewhere? They've not been stuffing beer into kegs for that long, so I figure there must be people out there clinging to pre-keg lager. It's a great question, because there's no real reason why lager wouldn't work on cask. The only thing I'd say is that maybe drinking your lager at 10, 12 degrees might not be as tasty. I think you'd have to design the recipe to do that. But it's worth remembering, lager is just a yeast and a process. And so you definitely could do that. The other thing to sort of say is that there is a difference between all of the things that Russ mentions in his comments. So the first thing to say is that generally, I think they call them like party kegs, the oak barrels that the Germans use are generally steel lined and have just been filled with what we call bright beer. So beer that's ready to go. It's fully carbonated. So it's just a giant fancy looking keg. I believe that there are breweries that do package and spund and create natural carbonation within those party kegs and serve from there. So that is essentially cask, but it'd be served at a colder temperature. And then the big tanks that say Pilsner or Kel use, they're just big plastic bags in big metal tanks. So again, that's bright beer. But the benefit of doing that is that when you package it, there's way less oxygen going in, or indeed no oxygen, because it's coming straight from the lagering tanks. You've also got better control over the temperature because it's in bigger volume. And then when you serve it, it still hasn't seen any oxygen right until the point where it starts coming out of the tap. So that's the benefit to that. But as far as I know, there's no actual secondary fermentation happening. And there are cask lagers, and you do see them occasionally in the UK. The most famous example would be Schiehallion from Harveystown Brewery. Like that was, I wouldn't say it was big, but it was doing the circuits of many cities in the UK back when Harveystown were perceived as being a bit more experimental perhaps than they are today. And they're pretty early adopters of great, of all kinds of great beer. They made all kinds of stuff. So yeah, it does exist, but I think maybe the temperature thing gets in the way of it in the UK. There's probably like some kind of subtle rule around you should drink the beer at the temperature it was finished or packaged at. I can't quite work my head around it, but yeah, it's interesting that you lager something at 1 degree. Maybe you shouldn't drink it at 10. I'm not quite sure.
Sounds like we need to make a new instructional beer glass that has some stuff about that on it. We do have serving temperatures on it all over it, obviously, but
yeah, and we say don't drink lager at that kind of temperature unless it's something like a Doppelbock, which probably would be very nice at 10 to 12 degrees because that's still really cold, people.
This is nothing.
Comment.
That is a great comment. This is sort of vaguely nothing to do with that, what you just said, but you did make me, while you were talking, I was just reminiscing to the time when I was last in Amsterdam and I saw a Heineken, like a really small truck that had just like a giant Heineken thing on the back of it. And it had a hose that went down into the ground and they were pumping beer into some establishment via a hose on a bridge. It was on a little Amsterdam bridge. It was doing it. And I was like blown away. I was like, I don't understand. Why are they not just rolling kegs through the street? But they had some sort of infrastructure where they were pumping the beer in like a fireman's hose type thing. And I was like, that's crazy. I might have smoked a little bit at the time, but I'm pretty sure that actually happened.
I mean, hey, that wouldn't surprise me that they'd be serving tanks of Heineken if you could.
It must have, tank. I was like, is that tank Heineken then? But it's obviously moved from one tank into another tank, and there would be air contamination. And it is Heineken, so it's not going to. Not going to taste amazing, but it's going to taste better than a lot of Heinekens, I would say. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, and I would imagine it's only being given to people with very high turnover of Heineken. So high turnover is always a good sign for fresher beer as well. So
definitely,
yeah, look out for tank Heineken when you're in Amsterdam.
Yeah, under the streets.
Right, so let's get back on the format, Bradley. Should we dig into this week's news? Because there's lots going on.
There's loads, absolutely loads.
And it's actual genuine news. It's not something, we found on Instagram, probably from years ago.
Yeah.
Let's start very briefly with the fact that Asahi, our good friends at Asahi, are having a terrible time.
They've been hacked, mate. Absolutely
They have been cyber attacked, and currently their 30 factories in Japan are unable to make beer. Well, that's not strictly true. It's just a slightly cryptic statement from the spokesperson that said the company has 30 plants in Japan making beer, beverage, and food products. But Asahi is still investigating whether all of them have stopped production. Like, surely that's quite a quick phone call. How long does it take to make 30 phone calls?
I don't know where these... They've got some deep secret ones that are like underneath the Japanese Ocean that they have to send a submarine down to make contact with them. Or maybe there's some... I don't know. They've got to be somewhere. Isn't it Japan that's got the quietest room in the world? That's like a lake that's covered in parabolic mirrors or something. And
maybe what's that got to do with? You think they're making beer in there?
I hope so. I'd like to think they could make the quietest beer in the world in the quietest room in the world.
It's a cliche that brewers are quite introverted people. Maybe it's the dream place for some brewers to work.
Yeah, very zen.
In a padded cell under a lake. But still, have a phone down there.
Yeah, probably have a phone.
So Asahi's currently unable to make beer, all the other things it makes, which include cider and whiskey, due to a cyber attack. I don't know whether it was Kirin that did that, maybe. Sapporo, maybe having a go. Can I not? I mean, I'm not saying they did. It's not slander.
Asahi is the biggest,
I'm just asking
isn't
the
it?
question. Just asking questions. I'm just Joe Roganing.
Yeah. I've been watching this guy abroad in Japan. He doesn't need a shout out from us because he's fucking massive on YouTube. But he goes out drinking with his buddy called Netsuki. And Natsuki ranks all of the beers in Japan, the lagers. And he puts like Sapporo, Asahi, and Kirin in the same band. They're all right at the top. There's one other one that's above it as like a macro beer. I can't remember what the brand is, but it's a local brand to somewhere in Tokyo, I think. And he rates it. And I've forgotten it, so that's bad. But he really does rate Asahi stuff. So,
well, I mean, I think Japanese lager is probably...
It is very good.
Probably the best of the big macro.
It's great stuff.
Things. I do enjoy most of them. I think Sapporo... I was learning about Sapporo. I think they decoct. But for efficiency or something.
I used to work in a private members club, which I've definitely said about on this before. But I did parties for like Paris Hilton and Kid Rock and all these other people used to come through. And I was the VJ, so I had control of all of the walls. They were like LED video walls. And I used to put on these parties and control the visuals. And I had I could drink whatever I wanted all night. I was there from about 10 p.m. till about 3 or 4 in the morning. And my sort of drink of choice was a Sapporo shot metal bottle thing with like a little lid. You open it up, and it was great. I used to really enjoy drinking them.
So it's just a lager, but with a cap.
It's a lager with a cap in a metal.
Bottles.
Like it looked like a sort of like a weird little metal bottle, but super cool. I was at art school, like studying graphic design and stuff when I did this job, and I was like, I'm living my best life. I'm drinking like exotically packaged niche beers.
Well, Sapporo still have that weird can, don't they? That's like shaped.
Yeah, that's right. They do. They do.
Yeah.
I do really like. I'm going to take you to Japan Center. We're going to make a little video, because we can't afford to go to actual Japan, so we're going to go to Japan Center.
Yeah,
you're going to teach me about ramen and stuff, and I'm going to show you the fridges of. I'm not going to teach you. But I'm going to show
understand.
You the fridges
As a man who, it's pork soup, but Brad
won't
I know. Touch it.
Well, I need to get more into it. Well, I want to go to Japan, so I need to get my head around it, don't I? But
it's just pork soup. There's nothing to get your head around. It's pork soup.
Yeah. Well, all the soup I've been eating the last 2 weeks, maybe I can get into it then. I did read that ramen, if you eat ramen regularly, you're going to die, basically, because it's really salty, and noodles are hyper processed. Even if they're like hand stretched or whatever, the way that they're milled and stuff is, it's like not good, basically. But they look delicious.
Internet, Bradley. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
It's like bacon. I mean, I'm not going to stop eating bacon.
First.
Yeah.
So the other big news this week has been the fact that Oktoberfest was closed down for a day.
Yeah.
Due to a bomb threat that came in from quite a dark and quite complicated story. It seems to be a paternity dispute that ended up with a Home Alone style booby trap rigging of a house.
Yeah, and a dead guy, which is not not great.
And I can't. It's really hard to work out, and I guess that's because the investigation is still ongoing. But I think this man put in a bomb threat to Oktoberfest, or was on his way to Oktoberfest with a bomb, which obviously was taken very, very seriously by Oktoberfest. Because any bomb threat should be, but because it has been bombed before. So Oktoberfest in 1980, there was a neo-Nazi attack that killed 13 people, I think, and injured hundreds. So, it's something that they are super aware of, and it's the biggest folk festival, beer festival in the world. It's obviously going to be a target. But just the most insane story, and I am absolutely amazed that they opened it. I think they opened it the same day.
Yeah.
So that is a hell of a job by the German police to, I guess, search the entirety of Oktoberfest and then be like, as you were.
Good to go. Yeah, I think their police don't mess around. I've seen some videos of their sort of special units that are kind of doing, breaking sieges and shit like that. They look like SAS type dudes. So
when you've got a history, I guess, like Germany does, you take these kinds of things not only seriously, but you have the preparation there. Yeah. And things do look a little bit dark politically in Germany as they do here. So, I mean, a bizarre story, but I mean, because Oktoberfest is so rarely cancelled, right? It's one of those things that I think culturally happens come rain or shine. And, it's been pandemics, it's been world wars, and that's about it. And then, a bomb threat and a genuine bomb. It's I feel like it's flown under the radar a little bit, this story, but it is truly a truly remarkable and terrifying thing that has happened in Germany. Talking of remarkable and terrifying things, Twilight star Robin Pattinson is the new face of 1664. Credited as the worst macro lager in the world by Craft Beer Channel.
We don't call it Kronenberg 1664 anymore. It's just 1664 beer, isn't it?
Is it just 1664 now?
Yeah, they've rebranded the 16. I think
like
probably
Stella
because
Artois becoming Artois.
You slated them, and they were like, shit, our Kronenberg name's tarnished. Now Johnny Garrett's got an opinion on the matter.
I mean, that video did reach 700,000 people, so it's not.
There you go.
It's not as small as the other shit we do.
I mean, I like Arpat. I think he's in Harry Potter, and I said to you he's in Harry Potter, which I haven't seen, and you were like, what is he? So, and I know you liked Harry Potter, so you didn't remember him.
Well, I like the books. We can all agree the films are terrible, and the person that wrote it is a nightmare with legs now.
Yeah,
but
I like the fact that Arpat's right. I don't think he was in all the Harry Potter films, because I've seen some great photos of young Arpats turning up to one of the Harry Potter premieres, pissed off his nuts in Hollywood somewhere.
Spoiler alert, he does die.
Oh right, okay.
I didn't realise he was Cedric Diggory, but he dies. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Well, he's written out only about a book. Like maybe he's introduced in that book and killed in that book, possibly.
Oh, okay.
Or he might have been around for a book before. Well, he's not a big part.
He turned up to this thing and he was looking well dishevelled, and he drank all the way. He apparently walked there from where he was staying.
Maybe this is what got him the gig.
He was totally half cut by the time he got there. But then they were like, "Oh, it's Arpats. He's our buddy," and they papped him.
And he's a vampire now, so
he's a vampire.
He's world famous.
He's a very good. I think he's a good actor. He's great in quite a few things I've seen. A lot of people don't like that Mickey 17, but I liked it. I thought it was good.
I just want to say that when Bradley sent me this news story, and usually when he sends me a news story, I'm like, right, so why is this interesting to everybody at home? And your exact response was, well, Batman's advertising 1664 now, which is, I guess it is the take.
he is Batman, and he is advertised in 1664. Is he my Batman?
Where do you rank him in the canon of Batmans?
I think he's pretty good. I like his sort of like grungy, angsty, teenage Batman vibe. He's a weird looking dude. I don't think he's very attractive, but I think he's a weird, gawky looking dude. I've offended loads of people, but that's not to say that he's not a great actor, because I think he's pretty good. And you know, he's obviously got masses of sex appeal to loads of people out there. Just, I don't think he's a classically handsome Hollywood devil. I think he looks odd. And he looks like a vampire, doesn't he? A bit.
He's looking at me odd from the photo they've used.
Yeah. Arpads.
I like how the photo they've used doesn't have him with a 1664. It's just him.
Yeah. I liked how real he was turning up to a premiere pissed, though. Uninvited, drunk, shirt hanging out. Incredible vibe, to be honest. Like, you know,
we'd have been down the Stranded, necking Budvar.
Exactly. It could have destroyed his Hollywood career, but it obviously didn't, and he's doing all right. So, cool.
The other thing I want to pick up from this story, other than the fact that Brad thinks that Arpat shouldn't be a sex symbol, is that the French beer, formerly known as Kronenbourg 1664, announced Pattinson as the new face of the brand as it, and this is the bit I take exception with, evolves into a modern lifestyle player.
Is that Arpats? He's evolving into a modern lifestyle player.
No, it's the brand Kronenbourg 1664.
Modern lifestyle.
What does that mean?
Do you know? I'll tell you what that beer is to me. As a teenager, my friends that smoked, I'd never smoked. That was their ashtray at the house party. That's what that beer was. That was the ashtray beer. And like, you pick it up, and you'd be like, "Oh, that's the ashtray beer," because you'd see all the stuff around the top of it. But it was not. It was very much in fridges when I was going to house parties as a 16-year-old, which is a long time ago now.
I remember buying cases of it, and I don't think I ever remember really enjoying it. It's why I got into cars. But I also, when I was working in pubs, I think we sold, I'd say 1 in every 100 pints I poured was a Kronenbourg. It wasn't a popular beer. Like, in the pub where I worked, we had Carling. God, this is sad time. It was Carling, Stella, Kronenbourg. And then Guinness on that 4 out. Yeah, so Carling, Stella, Kronenbourg, and all we served was Carling and Stella. Oh, and we had Foster's as well on a separate tap. Like, just people were not drinking it back in when was I doing that? 2003 to 2006 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was drinking it then. I hated it at the time. I don't understand how it really exists in the UK. Like, I get that it's all over France. It's a French branded beer, but how it survived in the UK baffles me, because I've never met anybody that liked it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to have, like, you know, like people call Stella like wife beater and horrible name, but there's like, you know, there's almost like a reverence to some of these crappy beers. I don't know what you'd call, what's the short name for like a Kronenbourg? You don't call it a crony or a burger. I'll have a burger or a burgie. I don't ever remember.
1664, don't you? That's,
yeah, it's 1664, I guess. But I mean, even that is a bit wanky, isn't it? It's not very cool.
Yeah, I don't understand how anybody could really transform it, because I guess what they're saying when they say modern lifestyle player is they want to be like Guinness, right? They want it to be a cultural force that people almost drink because of its cultural status, not because of its flavour.
I think they must have done
I can't see how they do that.
They've done a deep dive into Arpats. He must have been drinking 1664 at that premiere when he rocked up. That must have. He must have walked along with his 6-pack. That must have been it.
Beer's gone down. Yeah, must have been. But like, beer's gone down this road and has done for many years. But it's going through it quite hard at the moment because, was it Beckham is Stella Artois? I think Eric Cantona was 1664 before Pattinson.
Years ago. Yeah.
Obviously, you've got older associations like was about to say Miley Cyrus, definitely not Miley Cyrus. Boddington's
Mel Sykes.
Melanie Sykes. Like celebrity endorsements have worked for beer, but I think they're all struggling to find the right ambassadors because, I mean, I think Eric Cantona was an inspired one for any French brand. You know, he is what most people want to think of when they think of France.
He's a poetic mofo, isn't he? He's an interesting egg.
And he's still got that thing that I think Stella wants from Beckham, which is like this
swag.
You know, world-class athlete, big personality, stylish. So he was great. David Beckham and Stella, I don't think anybody looks at David Beckham and goes, "Oh, he drinks Stella, I will too." Because
I don't reckon. Do you reckon he drinks Stella? Hasn't he got a 6-pack still? I don't think there's any way. That guy's not getting bloated drinking Stella. No way.
I mean, I think he drinks beer, but I don't think he doesn't strike me as a man with any kind of allegiance to it at all.
No.
And I think that if you're going to put somebody who is in such incredible shape, particularly at his age, that using him to sell beer just feels odd. I think.
Who's a more realistic person? Who's the everyman that should be the face?
I think Eric Cantona is a great example of a great ambassador because yes, a lot of people would want to be Eric Cantona, but also Eric Cantona would not make people feel bad about the way they live their life or how they look or anything like that because they drink beer.
And he's a flawed character, right? He's a complicated man that's done bad things. Yeah, he's done amazing things. He's I mean,
I don't think any brand wants to talk about that element, but you're right in like he's not
in the mind. I think he's a more like you can empathize with someone who's flawed, right?
Yeah.
So
and just to be even more simple, it's just like you look at David Beckham and like you just did, you go, "There's no fucking way he drinks Stella."
Yeah.
So how does that work as an ambassador where everybody looks at that person and goes, "They don't drink that"?
And he's sort of dressed like a Peaky Blinder in the advert from memory. He's got like a little flat cap on or something stupid, or a waistcoat or something. And he's at the bar, isn't he? And then the girl he thinks the girl's interested in him, but she's interested in the beers that are being handed out. And then she totally ignores him, he's like humbled by it. And the barman goes, "Oh, that's the Stella effect, buddy. Even you, the 20-year-old's not looking at even you sexy bastard. Not even you are sexier than that pint of Stella." So that's it.
Now you've put it that way, it works, doesn't it?
It does.
He's not as sexy as a bottle of Stella, is he? Oh no way. Anyway, so I thought that was a mad but fascinating bit of news. We're rapidly running out of time.
We have waffled.
This is a story you said you didn't send to me last week, but it's got Jonny written all over it. The Michelob one.
Oh, the Michelob one. Yeah, I know.
This is literally my bag.
Yeah, I should have done.
So go on, tell us about Michelob Ultra, Bradders.
Well, I haven't got the article up, but Michelob Ultra is now the best. It's the best-selling beer by far in America. And it's owned by the same people that own Anheuser-Busch, that own Bud Light, which used to be the best-selling, but really fell out of favour for various reasons. But a lot of it was to do with a campaign they did, which certain members of society, I would say they almost found it offensive, which I don't understand. But it's a quagmire of opinion, all this sort of stuff. But the upshot is I'm guessing a very mediocre beer has taken over another very mediocre beer's spot at the top. But let's talk about it.
Yeah, yes and no. So Michelob Ultra has been declared as the top selling beer in the US. A couple of reasons for this. One is I think that Michelob has slowly been gaining this weird slight cult status in the sort of the Pabst Blue Ribbon way.
On
top of that, Bud Light has really struggled. It wasn't the top selling beer. I don't think it was the top selling beer in the country when they did the work with Dylan Mulvaney, who's a transgender influencer, I guess. But then there was the boycott, and as we've learned, the right are much better at boycotting than the left, and they boycotted it really fucking effectively, based off of complete bigotry. And on top of that, we have the fact, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago in the podcast, that sales of Modelo and Corona have not fallen off a cliff, but declined pretty significantly. And that's being blamed on the tougher US immigration policies, which is, I think, meaning that Hispanic consumers are not going out as much. They're not drinking as much. Perhaps they are struggling to get work, so they don't have as much disposable income. And because they were one of the main consumers of those brands, there's been a big drop in that. So Modelo Especial was the biggest selling beer in America right up until this year. So politics from the top and politics from the bottom have intervened to almost make Michelob the winner by default. I would love to know how many people boycotted Bud Light and started drinking Michelob, not realizing that it's the same company, probably a different marketing team, to be fair. But they're not boycotting the marketing team. So again, it comes back to this. I mean, I don't particularly want to serve those kind of consumers, but explaining to people that brands are owned, the big brands in America are actually owned by 4 breweries, even though there's 20 or 30 brands. So yeah, it's a really interesting example again of how politics literally affects brewing and how brewing literally affects politics. It also,
their Instagram's very interesting, Jonny. It's just all red, white, and blue, which is pretty amazing actually to look at on the grid. Look how red, white, and blue this grid is. So it's like super like nationalistic. There's sports and kind of like people that are, although that's not very American. Football.
Oh, soccer's getting big in America.
Soccer, I guess so. But look at the colours on that, man. It's quite interesting, isn't it?
There's some pretty clever, surreptitious branding going on to be like, wow, this is American beer. Yeah. And I think there was, damn, I can't remember who was talking about this. A marketing guy at the top of one of the big brands talking about how there was a need essentially for nationalistic beer marketing to help the national US or native US, I don't quite know what the correct term for it is, but brands that are supposedly American.
Yeah.
They need that nationalistic element to sort of to combat the Mexican lager raise. And clearly maybe they were from maybe InBev, and that's what Michelob have done, because that branding is not how I remember it. Much simpler, plainer, and echoing the stars and stripes. And Michelob, I believe Michelob was, I think it was an attempt from AB InBev originally. It was released maybe 70 or 80 years ago to create a premium of Budweiser. So it was like they recognized that Budweiser was not being seen as premium anymore. So they released Michelob as the ultimate, like, sort of what the Anhausers or the Bushes drink. And that completely flopped. And then it became Michelob Ultra when the light beer sort of thing happened. So that brand has had a wild kind of journey as it goes through. It's completely malleable.
I as a brand, don't like it. Do not like it. It doesn't even look like a beer to me somehow. It's a really odd shaped can.
I think that's on purpose as well.
Yeah, look at the shape of the can. It looks like one of those thingies, doesn't it? The thingy soda-y things, what they called, with booze in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It looks like the hard seltzers, and it's been influenced by that craze to make it look like it's zero cal, zero carb. It's got to sit in a slightly different category to beer.
That even says zero on
taste of beer.
Zero excuses, though. Not zero cal, but zero excuses. He's got his gun out. He's got a whatever that is, a 12-pack under the arm. I must say, he does look Hispanic, though, Jonny.
He certainly does, yeah. So that's clearly something they're maybe trying to do as well, trying to target that market as well. So they're trying to have it both ways, which is...
Both ways, coming at it.
Interesting.
All the angles. Wow.
All the angles. These are smart...
That's how you get to the top.
Smart people. It's how it... Yeah. Clearly it's working. It upsets me that it's working because it completely lacks subtlety, while at the same time being quite clandestine. Like, what it's doing is very, very obvious, but its motives are quite clandestine. It's quite deceptive a little bit. I don't like it at all.
It's tricksy, isn't it? Whereas I think there are great. It's tricksy. There are great heritage brands that look like Americana heritage brands. Like PBR looks cool. Definitely looks really cool. Coors Banquet. The one you like. What's the one you like? Is that Coors Banquet or no? I always get this wrong.
From a flavour point of view, Coors Banquet's pretty decent.
Coors Banquet, yeah.
I think that shows, Michelob never quite found its place until it became a light lager. So I think there probably is some really beautiful old Michelob branding because it was the old premium beer from Anheuser-Busch. But now it's sort of been co-opted into a category where, beauty doesn't really matter. I mean, you see that in the fact they've protected the Budweiser brand so carefully, but Bud Light is malleable and trend-driven and getting simpler and simpler and simpler and simpler. So yeah, that's really interesting news from over there, and it's not great news for craft beer because it shows that the general discourse, the tide is going away from authenticness, from story, from great beer, from drink less, drink better, and going further and further into the, I guess, simplistic message. Yeah, there you go. That's
what it used to look like, which does look very heritage. Interesting.
I do apologise to everybody listening. Brad's flashing stuff up on the screen that you can't see.
Brown curvy bottle, with a gold metallic topper, and then that Michelob ribbon, the red ribbon, which is a little bit like a Marlboro sort of ribbon or something. It's a little bit cigarette packet vibes as well. But I've just seen that one, which is even weirder. Look at the top of that bottle. I don't even understand what's going on there. Is that a bottle?
Looks like, I think it's a Pepsi that the Michael J. Fox opens in the future, in Back to the Future.
That's it.
Yeah. But there we go. That's our news for the week, and obviously we did the video at the start. Next week we have the Brew Day with Baron, in which I'll be tasting this absolute beauty and seeing just how green it is. I know that Jack listened to the podcast. I'm sure it's not going to be green. It's going to be absolutely sensational, and you're your own worst critic. We'll then have a podcast next week as well, of course. But the week after that is our festival.
Christ, yeah.
So it's 2 weeks to the day until we open the doors of Love and Beer 2025. And if you haven't got a ticket, still plenty of tickets available. Please do join us. It's from 3 till 11 on the 17th of October at the Beer Merchants Tap. We are slowly but surely finalising all of the beers. We're getting our tasting note card together that everybody gets on the way in, and the beers are looking very exciting. And we're also finalising the bottle shares as well. So we've got stuff from Siren, very kindly donated by Ian from our Patreon forum. He had some vouchers he couldn't claim, so he's donated that to the cause. We should have some very rare American IPA and some delicious Belgian stuff and a big old Imperial Stout to be sharing with you all. The glassware arrives today. That's very exciting. We can confirm that Brew Tools have joined as the headline sponsor. Very excited to meet the folks from Brew Tools and see their amazing equipment. So it's all coming together beautifully, and you should be there on the 17th. There's a link in the description to this podcast. But until Wednesday, until you join me in the wilds of North Hertfordshire at Baron Brewing, it's Love and Beer. The Bubble and Friday 5pm podcasts are brought to you by the nerds behind YouTube's Craft Beer channel. You can watch over 400 mini documentaries at youtube.com/the Craft Beer channel. And if you love what we do, support us via Patreon and get access to merchandise and our amazing Discord forum, a positive and welcoming space for everyone who loves beer, food, and homebrewing. Love and Beer.